Hi there, Tad Hargrave with another video about point of view marketing, and this one is a response to a question. I can't remember from whom, but I made a note of it, so I'll read it out here. They said, because I think they were in my point of view program, and they just said, that makes so much sense for marketing and the world. I think the function of keeping point of view simple is not to confuse people, but you also want to give people credit for being able to think for themselves. Then again, some people just want to be told what to do and live in a black and white world. I'm all for complex point of view, but I've got to admit, simple dogma tends to win elections. It's true. So what do you do about that? On one hand, dogma and simplistic, binary, black, white, either or thinking is destroying the world. On the other hand, it's very compelling, isn't it? You know, this kind of faux certainty, this this is absolutely going to work. It's overly simplistic points of view, they do tend to, it's scapegoating, it's the immigrants, it's the Jews, it's black people. That's a very profoundly simplistic way of thinking about anything, and completely misdirected in my mind. But even if you say, well, it's the 1%, yeah, but not all of them. And it's actually maybe some systems that are in place. It's not those people. It's not a personal. You see what I'm saying? So you can say, well, it's the 1%. Well, you could kill all those 1% and then they get replaced by a different 1%. And that's happened before. And yet it works. It will sell things if you do a simplistic thing. So I'll just say this. In my book, Point of View Marketing, I talk about how point of view goes through 3 stages. First of all, it's simplistic. Then it's really complicated, and then it's simple. Simplistic, complicated, simple. Simplistic is what we're talking about here. Complicated is what happens when you start thinking about it, and you realize all these simplistic notions fall apart. It's not hard to dismantle the immigrants are the problem conversation. You start to question it and it kind of crumbles. The whole white nationalism worldview crumbles upon just a very little bit of examination. And so do a lot of claims in marketing. If you just scratch a bit on the surface, there's just nothing under it. There's a lot of gold surface, but you scratch it and it's just lead underneath. And then there's the simple. Now the simple is not the same as simplistic. Simple is, if you were to sit with an indigenous elder and they were to speak, probably they speak in very simple ways. Not huge words, not difficult to understand. And so you could be excused for thinking, well, what a simplistic worldview. But if you were to challenge it, if you were to scratch under the surface, man, it's gold all the way down. See what I'm saying? You probably know some spiritual teachers who've really done the work. And on the surface, you could read their book and say, oh, well, this is simplistic. But again, if you were to push on it and challenge it, you find, oh, that's actually very stable. That's really solid. So, of course, you can hear my bias here. I think we want to go for the simple, not the simplistic. I think simplistic worldviews are destroying the world. And I frankly don't give a shit if it works better for your marketing. If you play that game, you are a part of the problem. Because the problem is this oversimplifying of everything. I'm not saying you start with a PhD dissertation the first time you meet somebody. You can start with a surface, simple level. I think about medicine wheels, at least in North America, where I'm from, you've got this wheel with 4 quarters to it, 4 different colors. And if somebody were to just talk for a minute about it, say, oh yeah, this is our understanding and here's the 4 directions, and you could say, oh, cool, there's the 4 directions, that's it. But no, that's not it. If you gave them another 10 minutes, they say, well, and actually, for each of these directions symbolize certain things, and they have certain prayers and certain songs go with them. You say, oh, okay, I see there's a little bit more there. And then if you gave them 20 minutes, they might say, oh, and each one actually has an animal, a few animals associated with it. You say, oh, okay, well, there's more. Give them another 10 minutes. They say, oh, well, of course, each of those animals We have a different relationship. Some of them are food for us. And so then we have to learn how to tan the hides and process the animal once we've killed it, how to cook it, how to prepare it. And of course, there's songs and prayers and chants for each of those things. Oh, and then, for the hunting of that animal, of course, we need to pray with tobacco. Oh, did I mention tobacco? You see what I'm saying? And they can just keep going almost forever. Why? Because the whole culture appears in this simple little circle. This is, to me, what we're going for with point of view. Something that's simple and ornate that on the surface looks like, it's only got 4 parts, but everything is there. Because if there's nothing under the surface and we're just selling people, it's kind of spray painted gold, we are hurting people. We're lying to people. We're misleading people. And this leads to more heartbreak, disillusionment, cynicism about the market and about our own industries. The very industry that we're in becomes hurt by our simplistic approaches. And it furthers the bifurcation, the divisions, the polarization in the world by doing this overly simplified thing. People over the years have tried to, in workshops, many times get me to demonize various marketing approaches, and I just tend not to. So what about this tactic, this tactic, this tactic? And I'll say, but here's a good way you could use this tactic. The very tactic you're trying to demonize, I'm saying, we don't have to get into this either or thinking. Does it work? Of course. Gets people all up in arms, gives them an easy enemy often. But, an easy enemy never made lifelong friends, really. That's not what friendship or kinship or community is based on. Is that what you want with your connection with your clients, that you all just share a similar enemy, where it's actually not that simple that person is the enemy? I mean, that's a cult at that level. That's not even close to community. And it's not close to anything that I want to be a part of. So it works to do the simplistic thing. But your clients will be heartbroken at some point, because they will push and they will test, some of them, and then they'll find it's the Wizard of Oz and there's nothing there. There's just a little man behind the curtains with a lot of bluster and a megaphone, making his voice so much bigger than it was. And we can do that because also then you don't need to learn. You can just start right now. You can watch a YouTube video and start a business based on what you heard them say. And, and then you could literally copy their website. You could do a lot of things, and suddenly you have a lot of people showing up for your stuff without any substance to it. So anyways, I think I've gone on long enough. And by the way, if this prompts any questions or reflections, please put them in the comments below. If you like this video, you like my videos, hit the subscribe button. And, there's a little bell icon that'll tell you, by the way, if you don't like my videos, you should definitely subscribe, because they just keep you reminded of the things you don't like in the world, which helps you get clear about what you do want. So that could be my service to you. And of course, I've got a website, marketingforhippies.com. You can check me out on Facebook as well, Instagram. Thanks so much, everyone. Take care.